Up-close shot of you sitting in a cozy, softly lit room. You look directly into the camera, empathetic and calm. Gentle, slow background music starts. If you've ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and felt a sudden wave of guilt, if you've ever wondered, I make decent money, so why do I feel so broke? I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not fundamentally bad with money. You aren't lazy, and you aren't broken. For decades, the personal finance industry has survived by selling us shame. They tell you that if you just stop buying lattes, or if you just rigidly track every single penny in a complex spreadsheet, you'll suddenly become a millionaire. But that shame-based advice completely ignores one massive detail: human psychology. We live in a world where billions of dollars are spent every year by corporations to study your brain, find your psychological triggers, and get you to part with your hard-earned cash. It's an unfair fight. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going completely against the grain of traditional financial advice. We're going to look at the 6 psychological money traps that your brain falls into. Not because it's flawed, but because it's human. Once you understand why your brain does what it does with money, you can finally take back control without the guilt. Let's dive in. Imagine this. You've had a brutal week at work. Your boss was demanding, the commute was terrible, and you are mentally drained. Willpower isn't just an idea. It's a finite cognitive resource. By Friday evening, your willpower tank is completely empty. So, when you see an ad for a $50 takeout meal, or you find yourself scrolling through Amazon, your brain isn't thinking about your retirement fund. Your brain is desperately seeking a hit of dopamine to regulate your stress. You tell yourself, I worked hard this week. I deserve this. And you do deserve to feel good. The problem is that modern marketing has hijacked our need for comfort and tied it directly to spending money.
The fix here isn't to deny yourself comfort. That just leads to more stress and eventually, a bigger financial binge. The fix is to pre-plan your comfort. Create a low-energy, high-reward list that costs $0. Maybe it's a long hot shower, rewatching your favorite movie, or keeping a stash of frozen comfort food you bought on sale, rather than paying a 40% markup on a delivery app. Don't fight the exhaustion, just change the coping mechanism. Why is it so incredibly hard to save for the future? Why does putting money into a retirement account or a savings fund feel like a chore, while buying a new gadget feels amazing? Neurologists have actually put people in MRI machines to figure this out. When you think about yourself right now, a specific part of your brain lights up. But when you are asked to think about yourself in 10, 20, or 30 years, that part of your brain goes completely dark. To your brain, your future self is a stranger. You don't know them, so when you are asked to save money, your brain interprets that as you giving away your hard-earned money to a complete stranger. No wonder it feels painful. To fix this, we have to bridge the empathy gap between who you are now and who you will be. Stop calling it a retirement fund. Name your account something deeply personal. Name it Peace of Mind at 60 or Cabin in the Woods Fund. You can even use aging apps to visualize what you'll look like when you're older. The more real your future self becomes to you, the less it feels like a sacrifice to send them some cash. Trap number 3 is the sunk cost fallacy. This is the psychological trap that keeps us pouring money, time, and energy into a bad situation simply because we've already invested in it. Maybe it's a subscription you forgot to cancel, but now you feel like you have to use it. Maybe it's a car that keeps breaking down, but you've already spent $2,000 fixing it, so you spend another $1,000. Or maybe it's a piece of expensive clothing sitting in your closet. You never wear it, but you refuse to sell it or donate it because you paid $100 for it. Here's the brutal truth about money. The money you spent yesterday is gone. It is dead. It is not coming back. Holding onto a mistake just because you spent a lot of money making it does not undo the mistake. It just costs you your present peace. Forgive yourself for the bad purchase. Cancel the subscription. Sell the car. Forgive the past version of you who made the decision with the best information they had at the time, and stop letting past money dictate your future wealth. Have you noticed how incredibly easy it is to spend money today? 20 years ago, if you wanted to buy something, you had to get up, go to a store, talk to a person, pull out physical cash, count it, and hand it over. There was friction. You had time to think, do I really want to do this? Today, friction has been systematically eliminated by tech companies. Apple Pay, Face ID, one-click ordering, auto renewals. You can spend hundreds of dollars while waiting at a red light, using nothing but your thumb and your face. This is what we call the convenience tax. We are paying a massive premium for the illusion of convenience. When money becomes invisible, when it's just pixels on a screen, our brains fail to register the pain of parting with it. The antidote is to artificially reintroduce friction into your life. Disconnect your credit cards from Apple Pay. Delete your saved payment info from Amazon or food delivery apps. Make yourself manually type in that 16-digit card number every single time you want to buy something. You'd be amazed at how many times you'll abandon a cart simply because you are too lazy to get up and find your wallet. Use your brain's natural laziness to your financial advantage. Let's talk about getting a raise. When we make more money, we assume our financial stress will disappear. But for 90% of people, it doesn't. Why? Because of lifestyle creep. Psychologists refer to this as the hedonic treadmill. When you get a raise, your baseline for what is normal shifts. Suddenly, the apartment that was perfectly fine last year feels too small. The car that gets you from A to B feels too old. You upgrade your life to match your new income, and as a result, you are just as broke making $80,000 a year as you were making $50,000. Society tells us that upgrading our lifestyle is the reward for working hard. But true financial freedom isn't about having the newest things. It's about having the widest gap between what you earn and what you spend. The next time you get a raise or a bonus, don't ask yourself, what can I afford now? Instead, ask, how much of this can I use to buy back my time? Because money can buy a lot of shiny objects, but the ultimate flex, the true luxury, is waking up in the morning and having total control over your own time. The financial game we are playing is rigged. Every day, you are bombarded by thousands of messages designed to trigger your insecurities, drain your willpower, and separate you from your money. Stumbling into these traps doesn't make you foolish, it makes you normal. But now that you see the traps, you don't have to fall into them anymore. You can start small, add some friction to your spending, forgive yourself for the sunk costs, and start treating your future self like someone you deeply care about. Money should be a tool that makes you feel secure, not a weapon you use to beat yourself up. If this video helped you feel a little more understood, and a little less stressed about your finances, consider hitting the subscribe button. We don't do shame-based finance here. We're building wealth through understanding ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. Be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.